Hello and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. Today we are on the map Canis River. Let's quickly go over the map and then we'll jump straight into the cast. So Canis River has several start positions. This start position at the back in the high ground is a more defensive start position, but you do limit yourself with your speed of expansion due to it being longer to get to the rest of the triple mexes on the map. The other start positions here, two more in the low ground, very close to each other, but you are more open and exposed to early raids. However, your speed at expansion is significantly improved by being closer to the rest of the mexes. Potential other start position is the triple mex here next to the Geo. This is quite often used in team games as a battery spot. Key points on the map is the river that divides the map along its diagonal axis. This is unpassable by pretty much all units with the exception of obviously amphibious units. There are several parts on the map that can be passed. Down near the geo points on both sides there is a low water part that can be passed by most units with the exception of ticks. Then there are central sandbank passes on either side of the map, which are very highly contestable points. Players will generally focus their armies on one of those two locations to defend their side of the map. And so when it comes to Canis River, this map is mostly focused on those chokeholds, and if you can overwhelm your opponent in one of those chokehold positions, you can do very well. Spreading out quickly is very important due to the high amount of metal extractors on the map. Now let's go straight into the cast. So here we go. Yanami versus Ubivator. Only 2 OS between the two players, so this should be a good one. Yanami starting in this rear position up on the hill. Very strong defensive position. And is Armada. No plans on factory yet, but it could be any of them. This start gives you a pretty decent choice in terms of metal. So he could go vehicles or bots here at this point. Who knows? And his opponent, Ubivator, also playing Armada here, starting in a different start position from Yanami here. This start position will give him a better option when it comes to capturing this Geo. He's a lot closer to it. And also should be able to expand to 6 additional metal points quicker than Yanami will. Not only that, his unit production will be further to the flank down the bottom here. So he should be able to get control of this bottom flank fairly easily. And but this one is technically still closer to Ubivator than Yanami. But it's not much in it. That one's pretty close. So we'll see what happens, really. And as we zoom on in, Ubivator's the only one to get any units out straight away. Ubivator did decide here to go winds only as a start, whereas obviously Yanami went not vehicles. He did go vehicles, but he went solars first. That does mean in the low wind times, like it is right now, Yanami is in a better position. Ubivator has been basically stalling on energy whilst these two solars have been built. He's still stalling on energy now, and surprisingly, there we go. He's now just was about to start queuing up a separate solar, but instead is starting to expand with his con. Both players have been very, very passive. Yanami just got some defensive scouts, but other than that, queuing up 2 additional cons and then 5 blitzes. So he's probably going to send one of these cons to do this part, then probably build energy, as we expect. This guy, I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up building a wall along here. We see that quite often. It basically blocks off an entire pass. And then the rest of these will go and expand. Now, a single scout has made its way around the back of Ubivator's base. Ubivator completely energy starved still, as we can see here. Yanami doing okay when it comes to energy. 2 ticks absolutely destroy the rover. Now, we do have the same faction, but different units when it comes to it. They've got Bot Lab versus vehicles. Now, as we've mentioned many times before on the channel, the bot lab will have the advantage of being able to chuck out more units, whereas of course the vehicle labs units should trade better. So it all depends on if Ubivator is able to make the most of this unit disparity and defend against raids whilst doing it. Already losing 2 mexes, Ubivator down 2. About to be down a third here as he's not really paying attention. He's not paying attention though because he has actually got units surrounding Yanami at the moment. That unit, you take out a tiny bit of health damage from fire. Does manage to get a pawn around, but there is a blitz there, so it probably won't do too much in the way of damage. No, not even able to kill the metal extractor. These guys, though, will kill an expansion con, which is pretty important. It's not that far away from the base, so it's not the end of the world. Pawn goes down. The tick is trying to get some additional damage here, but with cons chasing it down, it will get eaten. Oh, it does get the metal extractor, but the con is already there to rebuild, so it's not the end of the world. Opposite side, though. Yanami goes full into a bunch of pawns, and that does not turn out well for Yanami. Doesn't get them trapped though, which is key. The one difference now is obviously Ubivator has access to Rezbots. 200 metals worth of Rezbots can do here. There's 3 pawns, 2 blitzes that can be rezzed. He's already rezzing the metal extractors rather than having to rebuild them, which is a very good use of Rezbots here. Now blitzes can push through LLTs relatively well, and Ubivator is yet to have an LLT built. Wind has been horrific, though, this match so far. This map is generally quite a wind-heavy map, and for some reason, the wind has been dead the entire time. Both players having to invest into a lot of solars in order to keep energy positive, but Ubivator not really willing to go too much into solars. We can see here he's just about to build his 4th. He built the 3rd one ages ago and has still just been e-stalling as his constructor here attempts to build more wins. Meanwhile, you can see Yanami here just plonking down as many solars as he needs. Currently has 4 himself. It's a bit further ahead on energy production though with the wins, building his 2nd con turret. Whereas we see Ubivator here not building any con turret, but he does have his commander in base. Now the commander obviously has a lot of build power, 300 as opposed to a con turret which has 200. So it's still better to have your build power from your constructor. Sorry, no, from your commander rather than a construction turret. But still, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a transition to vehicles from Ubivator. Other than having a higher quantity of units out, bots doesn't really give much in the way of value here. There's no specific special terrain that he needs to deal with. Ubivator losing his expansion con. Will this Blitz manage to get away? He's driving straight towards a Rezbot. Another expansion con may be caught out here. Ubivator trying to get in the way, but it's not going to work. And yes, another expansion con destroyed. Now there is quite a few wrecks on the field here that if Ubivator can resurrect, he's already ahead on army value. And if Yanami just keeps pressuring him on this side and just keeps leaving bodies, then Ubivator could just turn it around with the resurrected units. When it comes to economy, though, Yanami is pretty far ahead. Well, I say pretty far ahead. It says 10%, but he's actually just 1, 2 metal extractors ahead. That's it. It's not like a lot. Sorry for the terrible zooming in and out there. Problem is that you need a lot more pawns than blitzes to trade fairly, and Ubivator just doesn't have the units grouped up properly to deal with this. These blitzes are just pushing down again towards the geo point. There is not much down here except for an LLT. An LLT will not really be able to stop blitzes though. Those blitzes could quite easily push straight through, but realistically, he's probably just going to go back across the water and regroup in the center, where a new batch of blitzes are already on their way. With Ubivator's commander there now, should help out as we select Ubivator here for a bit of an economy overview. We can see that he's finally got his energy under control. He's built an advanced solar as a way of dealing with that. Now, on the mini-map, as I don't want to miss any of this combat, on the mini-map, Yanami has started construction of a air lab and is starting to produce gunships. And when you look at the mini-map alone, you can just see how fast Yanami has been able to expand with his commander. And that says a lot, really, because now, you know, Ubivator's got a bunch of stuff moving in from the top here. He doesn't really have, yet again, anything to deal with this. And Ubivator's just being pressured in way too many locations. Loses yet another construction bot. And these guys here are going to be able to push through this LLT. A self-destruct planned. Will it be well timed? Tremendous timing, leaving only 4 left. But here come the gunships. Will they go for the base or the commander? Keep an eye just on these as they come in just before... Alright, they got killed. Here come the gunships. Does he know where the commander is? He just briefly sees him. But actually going for exposed metal extractors here rather than anything else. Now, I don't know if that was a good call. Able to push out like crossbows pretty quickly here. The gunships will temporarily reduce the build power and metal extraction of Ubivator here, but he has access to Rezbots. All of these wrecks are just wrecks. He can res everything here. So it's not the end of the world, but it will temporarily reduce his income considerably. And we can see here that, you know, we're talking 20 metal difference and losing his expansion con yet again. And surprisingly, we actually see Yanami here has transitioned over to bots instead in a method of trying to just outproduce Yanami. No, outproduce Ubivator, rather. Also, never finished this LLT, which is an interesting choice. Don't quite know where he's moving that commander. Don't quite know what he's doing with the commander there at all, but still. This will get mopped up fairly well. The fact that Yanami's on this side and built so many LLTs over here, he does have a decent chunk of the map. Ubivator's commander in a somewhat precarious position here. Now, we can just walk straight through the water, so it's not the end of the world, but still. Ubivator now realizing, having to go for D-guns here. Oh, that was a good D-gun. Manages to get 3 pawns in a single D-gun, and that is very good. Meanwhile, the front line that he did build is starting to fall. There are so many Rezbots there, though. This may just be a matter of time until the army value number ticks towards Ubivator's side. If he's able to just keep rezzing stuff, that is a bigger loss that Yanami's just feeding. So surprisingly, Ubivator's gone bombers here. can't secure this side. And this is why a lot of players just build a wall here. Just build a wall here. All of these attacks would have just either took a lot longer to attack or not happened ever, really. But all these wrecks are just being left behind. Finally, we see a attack from Ubivator here, but I don't know how much this is actually going to get. Not too much, to be honest. Well, gets a triple max, I guess. Does kill the LLT. They're not going to get any further than that. So, not too bad. Per, like, 8 pawns, actually. That's not pretty good. He's starting to run into trouble down here. Ubivator, of course, wants to try and get all of these wrecks up there. But now that Yanami has gone bots as well, he also has access to Rezbots. And the fighting is taking place mostly on Yanami's side. Bombers now make their way in. I'll give it a second while we watch this fight here, and then as it approaches the base, I'll switch to the base. No self-D on the LLTs. And that is Yanami into the choke point. Huge loss of energy production here. No advanced solars, though, from Yanami here. So all of his energy production is in wind. Only a single energy storage. And as we select Yanami, he is now in negative energy production. Has not built the Geo yet. And is having to rush out as many winds or whatever energy production he can find. Meanwhile, this, 1.8k of metal is going towards Yanami. Again, a hole is just still on this left-hand side that Ubivator is unable to secure effectively. Attacks from both sides here. Yanami's Ubivator's sorry, dealing with a little bit. Switch over to maces. Not working too well, really, versus all these pawns. So actually switching out to centurions, which will work pretty effectively. More bombers also coming out here from Ubivator, and he's just sending them, for some reason, all the way over there into AA range. That was a mistake. Yeah, now he's pulling them back. That is a lot of wrecks here. Oh, friendly fire in the bombs, though. Oh, but he does get all the Rezbots. That's pretty important. But a lot of the map is currently controlled by Yanami. There is a single bomber actually left here, which is interesting. Now, due to those loss of Rezbots, 3 and a bit K of metal is now sat here outside of Ubivator's, Ubivator's Rezbots. The key thing of note is that Yanami, due to that bombing run, is only just starting to get energy positive in order to continue pumping out. Now, he does have 3 energy storages. Okay, he has a lot more energy storages than you think. Centurions do seem to be doing a decent job here. There's just so much reclaim everywhere on this map. It's ridiculous at the moment. Army value is neck and neck, though, at the moment. But I would say that due to the fact that Yanami has only land units at the moment, it is kind of advantage Yanami for now. Yeah, Fiddler noticing the bomber that's just sat there. Vehicle con here. Well, it looks like it wasn't intended to actually be here. But these Rezbots are just going to town, resurrecting everything. Look how many halos there are. All of this army here is resurrected. All 28 units of them. And Yanami is just giving more and more time up, letting Ubivator just res more and more units. And this is a big mistake. Does Ubivator actually have any vision there, though? No. Ubivator without vision does not know that there's like a whole enemy army just here. And this force, if it does go in, there's 26 versus 56, are going to get absolutely slaughtered. Oh, but split up. Rezbots get caught out again. And the whole thing is here is Ubivator is just trying to get trades to work in his favor, where he can secure the wreckage if possible. He's not really looking to fight the actual main force, at least just yet. It does seem while he's got a lot of forces chasing this, he is going to try and take out this bottom group. There are a couple of Centurions in there, but not that many. Just a whole lot of pawns. Bombers and scouts ready again. And now actually a Tech 2 transition here. Both players on Tech 2, but we see vehicles for Yanami and bots for Ubivator. Still quite a bit of metal here, 500 in total, but rather than eating, he's just rezzing things. Potentially be worth eating stuff right now. He just needs to get that metal quick to get that Tech 2 up and running. He does have plenty of bombers, and he's hoping the bombers are what's going to save him, but with Tech 2 units already hitting the field, Centurion getting surrounded, can't really do that much. Bombers now having to be used for defense, it seems, instead. Not really doing too much. Bit of a waste, really, for bombers. Does stop the push, though, temporarily at least. Oh, and interesting. We actually see tumbleweeds out from Ubivator here as an attempt to try and stop the push. And spy bots. Ubivator being extremely risky with his comm. Still not back up to full health. 75% health. The LLTs and the units there are enough to pull back Yanami for now. Ah, and the sleeping bomber has now activated. And that'll be all she wrote. But getting 2 sets of wins is enough. For that, bomber's just been sat there for ages. Tumbleweed goes off, but at the same time losing the Geo along the bottom. And these forces can just roll straight in. Quickly switching over to Yanami's base here as the bombers arrive. Gets a bit more energy production. And both bombers dead. Jags are in the rear position here, but not really doing too much. Both players just really going at it against each other at the moment. And as soon as this gets mopped up, I'll switch over to... There we go, that's mopped up. And the geo point for Yanami is getting cleared out, as well as the metal extractors that are here. There's only a single LLT, yet there's 3 AAs. 4, 5 Jags making their way straight down into the center. And this could be bad for Ubivator. He's not really got anything here. Oh, but the tumbleweeds managed to do a lot of damage and leaving a single Jag. Con turrets are not eating it, surprisingly. And there it goes. Now the question is how many Rezbots are there and how much metal's around? Quite a bit. This area up here did get cleared out pretty well. All of the metal extractors bar one, which it looks like Ubivator is going to try and get. Energy is a severe problem right now for Yanami. Having to invest quite heavily here into advanced solars after completely losing his wins multiple times as a method of trying to get back. But obviously, solars require energy to use, and you can see he's using all of the energy because he's also making blitzes. This is 6,000 energy required to build, but he doesn't really have a choice. Oh, the EMP manages to shock all of the LLTs. And clearing up even more of the protected area here. Ubivator making a good push through, cleaning up more and more mexes. These are all Tech 1 units still. Question is, will he be able to get the reclaim from any of this? Surprisingly, Rezbots idle from Ubivator. There's quite a lot here that could be rezzed and help him out. But no, nothing yet. Also very, very forward wind production here. Slowly attempting to rebuild, but I'd say that his micro's not quite there. Oh, wow. Okay. Air transports with tumbleweeds on. Now, that's a meme play if I've ever seen one. I don't know how much this is really going to do, let's be honest, because the Jag might just shoot it down. Oh no, they're all grouped up. And nothing. That's exactly what I figured was going to happen. Well, these pawns, though, may be able to get a Tech 2 Con and Tech 2 metal extractors. This is the thing. So Yanami's been on the back foot massively, and those bombing runs really cut his energy down, but you can still see that his metal production, energy production, build power, everything is in Yanami's favor right now, with the exception of army value, which is ticking down very quickly as more and more of these Jags stay alive for longer. And this Tech 1 is only going to be so valuable for so long. I mean, he is getting some value from it. It's a shame he's not focusing on this. He could have got a Tech 2 constructor, or no, Tech 2 metal extractor, but no. Rezbots really far forward. Just eating all of the metal available. This is just so silly. This is just all he's building. It's just tumbleweeds. Like, why? Really? Like, he could have gone a hound ball, but no. No, I'm going to go tumbleweeds. Right, well, just come in there against Jags here. Lightning versus lightning. Oh, but some bad micro. Oh, but is this stealth bot planned to be used? No. EMP does manage to catch them, though, and that's the most important thing. Oh, but a Jag gets through, and Ubivator now struggling on energy. The welder's unable to fire effectively. And that did work, but this is becoming more and more of a problem. The tumbleweed play won't be able to work for much longer with tick spam coming out. He's still going for it, though. He doesn't care. I do have to say, I don't see them used very often, and he's just going for it. So, you know, why not? It's quite funny. Ubivator really unable to secure any of his flanks, though, which is a little bit annoying for him. Meanwhile, Yanami is just getting more and more metal extractors up to Tech 2. And we see counter tick spam going to be coming out here from Ubivator. Not again, he doesn't really have the energy for this. Units get around the back. Does Ubivator not have vision there? He has no vision. I mean, that explains a lot. And this is some decent base damage here. Not only that, but whittling down the air. Enough build power though to stop the damage now, so we'll switch off of that, and we notice that some welders get caught out here. And pretty much just evaporated. Oh, the AGO did get built, and there's nothing to defend it. And these two units on their own will take down this AGO pretty quickly. Welder shows up right at the end. That's a pretty big energy loss. Yanami now massively stalling for energy. I mean, this is still anyone's game. I mean, the amount of units, though, that Yanami is pumping out. He's got 2 Tech 2 factories just pumping out Jags. I mean, if he actually went to, like, Bulls or something like that, it could be a completely different game. But no. Jags and only Jags, apparently. I don't think Ubivator can really stop this. Not quick enough. They're gonna get around the back here, take out all of these metal extractors. This guy's only just started getting to Tech 2. They're all gonna get taken out. I don't think all these pawns are really gonna do much versus all of these Jags. Yeah, especially if they just stay at range like that. And not only that, look how many more are coming. An additional 24 on their way down. Ubivator doesn't really have much. Using Jags, sniper bots here versus Jags are not going to work out very well at all. He did try welders, but welders just didn't seem to work. And here they come, getting surrounded. There goes the energy converters. Ubivator losing all of his Tech 2 metal extractors to expansion. And I think this is going to end up being a base wipe here. I mean, not completely, but there's still more coming from the side, and even more just streaming out of Yanami's base here. Ubivator looks a bit stunned as to what to do. Commander sitting there, unable to assist. Desperately trying to keep the factory alive. But if this tumbleweed gets built and just walks out and explodes, he's going to take all of the build power with him. Ooh, close bomb. But Ubivator realizes that he just can't keep up with the powerhouse that is Yanami.
Battle ended.
And that was a very close game. That really could have been anyone's game. Ubivator just really was unable to hold his own side effectively very well, and Yanami, although didn't hold all of his own area himself, was able to just eco up more and more. And well, there we go. I mean, we can see metal produced. Look at the difference between the 2 players at the end. Huge amount of metal difference. 84 to 175. Huge difference. Or 171. Well, that's it. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.